All right, hey guys. All right, welcome. I'm gonna be honest. I thought this would be a good idea. I was asked to do this because I was going through all my records. I've been going through my CDs for the past couple of months, and then I got done, and people were like, "What about your records?" I'm like, "What about my records?" Like, I don't want to sit here and talk about my records. I feel like a jerk sitting here going like, "Here's how great I am," but so be it. So I'm not quite sure what to say. I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to present this. I guess should have come up with like an outline of how to do this, but I'm just going to free associate, and it might suck, it might not. Again, I'm just going to sit here and talk about me, which is incredibly egocentric, and I don't really feel very comfortable talking about me a lot, like a me. Don't really like to do that. That's why I always wanted to be a writer and not like out front, but things are what they are. So here you go. I'm going to talk about my writing, and I don't know how interesting this is to anybody, but I'm going to do it anyway. And forgive me if I seem really big-headed and it's just all about me, but like I said, several people asked me if I had to talk about my records because I've been talking about all these other ones. So here you go. I'm going to ramble about my writing, and I'm just going to go on. I've decided to go chronologically rather than, or I guess for you guys this way, chronologically. At the end of this, by the way, I'm going to give a little promo code from my site in case anybody's interested. So I'll try to make this quick, but I tend to just ramble on and on and on and on and on. So I'll try to make this short. I always wanted to be a songwriter. I never wanted to be a singer. I never wanted to be in a band other than wanting to be a drummer. I always wanted to be a drummer. I was good at that. I was actually good at drums. I wish I could be. Every time I see a live band, I want to play drums. But I always want to be a writer. I wanted to be Desmond Child and Diane Warren. Most of you who are watching this will know this by now. So I started writing songs when I was a kid. I was really drawn to the piano. And in that time, what was popular was like the David Foster stuff, the power ballad stuff, and the piano. The piano always drew me, so I wanted to write ballads. So I wrote ballads. I couldn't play guitar, which was kind of like a bummer for my family because they're really rockers, and I love rock. But I was drawn to the piano, so I wrote a lot of ballads and stuff like that. So I started writing in high school, and so I churned out 100 really terrible songs, like seriously. And I'll just show you real quickly. I literally wrote probably 100 songs that were absolute garbage before I figured out how to write some good ones. So real quickly, since this is about my discography, I'm going to show you the first thing I ever did. There's a handful of these. These are really, really awful, and I've never seen anybody. I've never shown these to hardly anybody, but I'll show you. So this is something I made. I used to work at Canon Copiers, so you had access to some good copy machines. And I had a bunch of terrible recordings. And so here you go. So here I made this. This is just for me. The only copy that exists. Here it is. Yes, I know it's backwards. That's Jace in the little like Yngwie Malmsteen handwriting. That's me with a guitar in front of a dragon. And the songs are all very Michael Bolton-ish, but not that good. But there's like 15 songs on here that you've never heard. This time, which is on my Stolen Sea. No, which is on Chasing Magic is actually on here. That's an old song of mine that actually is pretty good. There's 15 songs on here. Oh, Have It All. Have It All is on here. Some of you might know Have It All by my album Chasing Magic, and Far Cry did a copy. I wrote Have It All when I was 17. I was just ripping off Night Ranger. We'll talk about that later. Other than that, you've never heard anything on here. Because it's terrible. So that's my self-titled. And then I made this, which was called Glutton for Punishment, which I always thought would be a great title for a follow-up record, Glutton for Punishment. Always thought that'd be a good second album. Again, only thing that exists, I found this picture online. This guy's pulling his heart up a hill. There's 14 songs on here. No one's ever heard any of them because they're terrible. And then there was this Haunted World, which is Jim Buckles. Jim Buckles did a lot of these things. I just loved his art, and I would just make these because I always wanted to have stuff I could look at with my name. I'll admit this, very egotistically, words and music, Jason Pollack. That's who I always wanted that. So I made my own. There's 14 songs on here. No one's heard any of them because they're terrible. To give you an idea, Can't Fall Out of Love, I Still Need You, Where Our Love Began, You're My Angel, Don't Go, Now That It's Over, Back in My Arms Tonight, When I'm With You, Remember Me. I mean, just like the most, just the most ridiculous high school stuff that you could do. It's just I happen to play piano, so I can make terrible songs. Like, really terrible. Like, just not good. Not good. And then here's another one, which I aptly titled No Defense, because I knew how terrible this was. 13 songs on here. No one's heard any of these because they're awful. If You Only Knew, Flying Blind, Still, I Wish I Didn't Care, Blind, Countdown to Midnight, Every Time I Close My Eyes, just dog shit. Just really bad. And this is all done like in the late 90s when I'm just trying to be productive and do something. And then I made an instrumental record I called Zephyr. This picture, actually, I have a print of this now. Like I said, this is an artist, Jim Buckles, and I have in my living room, which I finally broke down and got, because for 20 years I wanted a print of his. Great artist, very moody stuff. Jim Buckles. He actually doesn't have a website. I bought his website, jimbuckles.com. I own it. Haven't put anything there. But this is instrumentals. There's 19 songs in here, all instrumental stuff. No one's ever heard it because it's terrible. And then I had this one, which I Heartburn, of course. Leap of Faith is actually on here. Table for Two was on here, and just whatever. There's just a bunch of old goofy crap that I did to entertain myself. And then there was like the self-titled thing with me. Yeah, this is good, right? All this stuff only exists in my closet. And again, a lot of these songs no one's ever heard. I've been at it a long time. This is kind of my point. And then I had something I called The Mirror, which I had for a little while, which has 10 songs on it. And most of these have found their way out. Some of these you never heard. Anyway, my point is I wrote a lot of stuff. That was terrible. Terrible. Like I've always said, I had to write 100 songs that were terrible to learn how to write like 1 or 2 good ones. I've gotten better at it. But I would just belch out all this crap when I was a kid. So there you go. So I always wanted to write. I focus on writing. I would get everybody know what this is, a Songwriters Market book that would come out once a year, and you get publishers and managers and all their addresses. And this is before the internet, so you had to send tapes off through the mail, which was incredibly expensive to buy tapes, duplicate them, ship them. I mean, you spent a lot of money trying to get one person to listen to a demo tape. It was ridiculous. There was no YouTube. There was no links you could send. You just like put stuff in the mail and hope somebody would listen to it. And you send it with little letters like this. Here's the little form letter you send. My name's Jason Pollack, and I write songs, and blah, 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 blah. Please listen to my, and did this for years. There was a service called Taxi. Anybody know what Taxi is? There was like anyway, it doesn't matter. No, I'll tell you, when I get to talk about this again. Taxi was a service that you signed up for a subscription, and you sent them your material, and then they would listen to it for a fee of $5. They listened to your song, and if it was good enough, they'd ship it off to the legitimate publishers, record producers, blah, blah. And I did that and spent hundreds of dollars on that when I was like in my late teens, and it was oh man, I got the letter I wrote to them. It was bad. Anyway, so I always wanted to write. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to write. I wanted to write for other bands. I wanted to be Diane Warren. That's what I wanted to do. And I pursued it as best I could for a long time, and then I got the job at Disney World, which was great. I failed upward and managed to get a job playing piano at Disney World, which that's a whole other story. Someday I'll tell the story of how I got the job, because I wouldn't get the job today, I'll tell you that. Because now there's YouTube and there's links and all that kind of stuff. But I actually put a real VHS tape in the mail and sent it, and it was insane. But once I got that, my focus shifted into learning how to do my job. So songwriting took a back seat for a long time. And then I decided to get more serious about it in my mid to late 20s, which is where I'm I'm already way behind. But technology had now caught up to where I can make a record in my apartment, which I did. So that leads me to my first, I would say, legitimate record that I made, Stolen Season. So this is a real thing. You can get this on my website. It's real. I know it's backwards on there, but here you go. This, as my buddy Pete Lentz, who sang on my latest record, Promise, he sang, a good friend of mine, he said aptly, this should have been called I Miss My Girlfriend. That's what this should have been called, because that's all it is. Again, I grew up Michael Bolton, Richard Marx, Diane Warren. It's all songs about feelings. So that's mostly what this was. I like a lot of it, but it suffers from the fact that I have no training, and I literally made it in my closet in my apartment on an Akai DPS-12 machine, where the screen was smaller than the screen you're watching me on right now. The screen was this big, and I mixed it and edited it and recorded it, and I'd get jazz 1 gig discs of memory. 1 gig was like $50 that I put in, and I had to get a bunch of those to make this record. And I mixed it on, I just didn't know what I was doing. So the songs are pretty good, but the quality is not quality. It's just a novice. That's why on my site it's pretty cheap, I think. I only have there's like 150, 200 copies left. I had 1,000 printed 11 years ago, and I still have 150 left. Anyway, I will talk about the songs real quick. Out of Reach. I'm just gonna ramble. All right. This is again very self-indulgent, very talking about myself. I know it seems weird, but whatever. Out of Reach was originally a ballad, but I ended up really liking Out of Reach. I sped it up and put it on here, and I actually one of the more catchy things that I've ever written. The Edge of Goodbye. I've always loved that song. I think The Edge of Goodbye is really good. Take Me Back. My little Goo Goo Dolls kind of nod. It's all right. Again, this is, by the way, no vocal correction. No, this was all very, very raw. When October Comes, I wrote the first half of that a long, long time ago on my guitar and my acoustic, and I always loved it, but I never had a second half. So that's why the first half is not at all like the second half lyrically. Table for Two. I could shoot myself in the head for writing Table for Two. It's a goofy song, and it's one song that I've been told that comes back to me over and over and over. At least once every 2 months still. Someone's like, Table for Two, I love it. Nothing wrong with it. But I wrote this at a time when like all that pop country was happening, Faith Hill. So I mentioned this before because I have a YouTube commentary about Table for Two, where This Kiss by Faith Hill was big and those poppy country songs were big. So I imagined that I've been tasked with writing an upbeat country song written from a girl's point of view. That's why there's the line, I want someone there to hold my chair in the song. But people love it. It's upbeat, it's goofy, there's no bridge, it's easy chord changes, it's really soft rhymes. I literally have Moonlight Dance in June. I actually have that line in this song. It's just really, really amateur. But people love it, so what the hell do I know? Let Me Sleep, that's an important song. People like that song, but that's an important song, which I'll get to in a minute. Should Have Been Used, actually really sad. I'm proud of that song. I wish the production was better. Should Have Been Used, really sad. Nothing in the Way is an upbeat song. It's my little ripoff of Jude Cole's Sheila Don't Remember. It was kind of that, but I was writing a lot of acoustic guitar songs at this time because I just learned how to play an acoustic. But that's kind of upbeat and happy. Lost. I actually really love Lost. That's one of the better things I've written. I was trying to write about something different than just my feelings. So I actually kind of dug deep on those lyrics, and to this day, the words to Lost are some of my favorite lyrics I've ever written. I really like the words to Lost. I wish somebody would re-record that, because it deserves a better recording than it got here. Lost is a good song. It's one of my first delvings into writing about something that's not just very personal. I Want to Try, that's pretty good. That's upbeat. Again, kind of like, it's very acoustic and like that upbeat country stuff. Fine Line. I love Fine Line. That song's been good to me. I got a commentary on YouTube about that also, where I talked for 10 minutes about Fine Line. But that song came to me out of nowhere. The melody, I don't know how to let you go, just came to me one night in Tennessee when I was walking, and I was like, I gotta remember that. Before cell phones, before I could sing it into it, I just had to remember the melody, but I did. That song's been good to me because that broke into, that's been re-recorded a couple times, and that's a good song. It's a good one. That's one of the more ones I'm proud of. When I Had You, really, really sad. I love the bridge in that, though. I think the bridge is good. So there you go. It's mostly kind of sad stuff, and I'm proud of it. I'm not proud of the production, but the songwriting's pretty good. But I do kind of wince a little bit at some of it. But you guys that are creative, you understand. Some of your older stuff, you're like, oh. But this was my first record, 2005, and I worked really, really hard on it. And when it was done, I sent it all over. I sent it to everybody that would listen, trying to get distribution or something, some kind of traction, but I didn't. But here's what did come of that. So we're going chronologically, all right? So here's what came of this record. I sent it to everybody, everyone I could find. I put it out there and go, here's this record, and I told the truth. I'm looking for distribution, or like if you like any of the songs. One of the places that I sent Stolen Season was Kibble Records. Some of you know what Kibble Records is. I must have sent 100 copies of Stolen Season out into the world. Which now that I think about it, it's kind of sad, because that means I only had 900 and I've only sold. That's going to be gone soon, guys. But anyway, I sent that record to everybody, and only Kibble Records was interested. So John Kibble, this is how I met Kibble, John Kibble, which we've had a good relationship ever since. We have a really great relationship, actually. We've done a lot of good stuff. But he called me and said basically what I agree with now, like the production is not great, and I don't really distribute, but I like some of these songs. Like, I'm listening. Because that's all I ever wanted, is somebody who has the power to make records who likes my songs. Because I was never wanting to do it myself. So, cut to, he likes Let Me Sleep. a lot. And like, all right, great. And then I sent them some other songs, and Leap of Faith was one of them. So I ended up with my first cover ever, which was on this record, Goodbye Thrill, self-titled. And I was very excited about this. This always has a soft place for me because it's my first cover. It's the first time I had nothing to do with this. I didn't have to work on it. I didn't have to pay for it. I just had to write a song and send it in. And I got what I always wanted for since I was like 16 years old. I know it's backwards for you guys, but words and music, Jason Pollack. And I was like, yeah, it says Jace Pollack, which that comes into play later. But I was like, oh, I got it. So my first covers are on there. Let Me Sleep is on here, and Leap of Faith is on here, which I just released on Promise, because that was just a demo of mine. Funny thing about this also is that the guy who wrote the rest of this record and sang it didn't need me. It's a great album all by itself. I didn't really ever know why I was included on this. I'm grateful for it. But there was no need. The guy that sang it and played guitar wrote perfectly great songs. No need for my addition, but who am I to argue? So there you go. That's my record. That led to this on Kibble Records. I don't know where you can get this anymore, but this was 2007, so I was encouraged by that. So there you go. There's my first cover. And then, let's see what happened next. So then that started that relationship, and I was like, all right, great. So I started writing. So I sent John some more, Kibble some more songs, and then they ended up doing Far Cry's first album, High Gear. Some of you might have this, some of you might not. But I wrote 4 songs on here, which is great. Fine Line got covered on here, which is one of... Fine Line and Have It All are on here, which are some of the better songs that I've done. And kind of the... I hate to say it, but like Have It All became one of the signature songs for the band, which was great. But Have It All and Fine Line, I got covers of that. And then they did The Same Mistake, which showed up later on my other record, which I'll talk about in a minute. And Out of Reach, which is on here also, was covered on this. So I got 4 songs on this, which was awesome. I really love that. So 4 of my songs were covered on Far Cry, High Gear by Far Cry. So that was pretty cool. So special record for me. I like that. And Fine Line and Have It All got a lot of attention, which I felt very good about. But there's good stuff on here. And what was it? Love Won't Wait. Cool. So that was that. Then John Kill and I started talking about I should do my own record because I had a lot of songs. And I'm like, all right. And so I started working on it. And he's kind of sold me on it, and I'm glad he did. But it's like, I should do a record where I sing, and we do like a Kibble record where it's me. But we decided that we wouldn't use my name. We would have to come up with a band name. And we spent a year trying to come up with a band name. No kidding. We had so many different band names going back and forth. I won't mention any of them, but some of them were ridiculous. I wanted to name the band Agenda, but I was outvoted over and over and over again. So I worked on this record for a long time. In hindsight, I wish I would have called it my name, because everything else I've done has been my name. So now I kind of pretend it's in my name. But I worked for like a year on this, and then it sat for a while, and it didn't get... I have a hard time with this record because I'm really, really, really proud of the songwriting. Some of the best stuff I've ever written is on here, but I ended up mixing it myself, which I shouldn't have done. But like a year had gone by, and there was no progress, and I got restless, and I'm like, I'm just going to do it myself, which I shouldn't have done. But I didn't have, the money, and I thought I can do it. No. But I put out Chasing Magic. Some of my best songs are on here. And the production's not bad. It's just not as good as I wish it were. But I mean, I am very proud of every one of these songs. They all hold up. World is Wide. I love World is Wide. Room to Run is an upbeat, fun, harmony-filled song. The Corners of My Mind was later covered by Tango Down. I was very proud of The Corners of My Mind. Same, which I wrote with Pete Lentz, is on here. Angelina, which is an old ballad that I sped up for this. The Edge of Goodbye makes another appearance because I've always loved that song. Bad Reputation, which I love that song. I dreamt it. I got a song commentary on YouTube about that. That ended up on a Tango Down record also, but I love that song. This Time shows up again. Fine Line, I wanted to do my own version of Fine Line and Have It All because they're my songs, and I like my arrangements better. I like my harmonies better. One thing that I love is harmonies, and that's the one thing that I never think gets done correctly, is I really want my harmonies huge. And then Too Many Roads is the last song on here, which Tango Down also covered later on. But Too Many Roads is one of the songs I'm most proud of maybe ever. I really love the words in that, and the key change, and my brother did a really great solo. I really love this record. It was kind of a Night Ranger-esque kind of thing, at least I thought it was. And I mean, I've had thoughts for years of going back and remixing and remastering the whole thing, but it would take so much time and money, and only 50 people would care. Not that that doesn't matter, but I mean, I need to do new things. I can't go back. But this is my record, Chasing Magic. If you look really close, if you have a copy of this, because I just wanted to call it Jace. If you look really close, and it's going to be backwards, I understand, so it's not going to look like anything to you, but in this picture down here in the wave, we ended up putting the name Jace. It's hidden in there. Jace is hidden in there. And then there's a hidden Mickey also on the ship. There's some hidden Mickeys there. So we put those in, hidden Mickeys. But there you go. Some of my best songs are on here. But the production is a little flat, and that's my fault. It's completely my fault. But I really love the songwriting on this. I'm proud of every song on here. I really tried to make like the best record I could. There you go. So that came and went. It got hammered because of production. It got bad reviews because of production. It deserved it. You know, I got so restless. In hindsight, I should have found some money and had someone else do it. But I learned a very good lesson from this, which helps me make the last couple of records I made. So there you go. That came out in 2010. Then let's see what happened next. And then I co-wrote. Oh, I did this out of order. Rats. And then actually before this, a little bit before this, I did my very first co-write with Scott Miller for Tango Down. So I have one song on this record, Damage Control. I co-wrote a song Step by Step with Scott Miller, and this was good for me because this led us. I kind of became. I've written stuff on the rest of the records since then. So I have one co-write on this record, but it started the ball rolling on a relationship that's lasted to this day, which is great. So this happened also. This is actually a really good record also. I like a lot of this. I was proud to be a part of this. Oh, that was great. And my very first co-write, really ever. So that happened. All right. We'll get back to that. And then I decided I wouldn't stop working on my stuff. And my father has been in bands, when I was a kid, and he's a huge influence, and my dad is why I basically play music, and he had a band in the 70s. They were great. My dad's written a lot of good stuff, guitar-oriented stuff, so me and my dad and my brother decided to make a record of my dad's stuff. So we made Kindred Saint. Very guitar-driven stuff. My dad plays the guitar, and there's great stuff on here. We grabbed the 10 best songs that I thought he had, and we made a record with me and my dad and my brother. Me and my dad switched lead vocals on here, which I thought was a lot of fun, like kind of Beatles-esque and Night Ranger-esque. And where he sings some, I sing some, we swap vocals on some. But my dad wrote all these songs. I played drums and keyboards, and my brother played guitar. But I was actually really happy with this. We've gone back and remastered it. But it's, it is what it is. It's my dad's stuff. My dad's influenced by like Kiss and Grand Funk and stuff like that. Like, it's guitar heavy stuff, but it's very good. I liked it. I was proud of this. So this is what I did next. Also, while we're talking about it, Chasing Magic and Kindred Saint, if you get these, you might notice I have like stickers in them. These are not the original prints. Here's why. Because the original prints were okay, but I found that I could go back and remaster them better. So I actually went back, took the time to remaster both these records. Not that they're like, great now, but they're better than they were. And so whenever anybody orders any of these, we actually throw away the original pressing and I reburn a new one. I pay for new stickers because I want the best product out there we can get. So I actually kind of lose. These two records almost cost us money when anybody orders one, but we want people to get the best quality they can get, and that's how it is. So we did that guitar-oriented stuff that my dad did. If you're interested in my influences, that's one of them. And I love this. Kindred Saint. So there you go. That's on my site also. No, it isn't. Is this on my site? I think it is. Yeah, it's gotta be. There you go. So there's that. Then I did this all out of order. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'll come back to that. Wow, I screwed up. I jumped right over this. All right, I'll talk about this real quickly. Right after Stolen Season, when I was trying to push my songwriting, I got together with the guys at Jelly Rolls where I work, and we made a record. And I pitched this, and we worked really hard on this, and we made an album called 12 Song Warning. There were 6 piano players. Everybody contributed 2 songs. Mine were Out of Reach and Table for Two. They were both off of here. And it was just a way to pitch our music because we all write. This did not do very well. Because everybody that came to the club wanted us to be doing Brown Eyed Girl and Buttercup and Dream On. And they weren't really interested in our original stuff. But this is something that we did. So there you go. 12 Song Warning. You can't find this anywhere. It doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't. And we put the work that went into this. I thought it was going to sell out. I thought it was going to be amazing. I thought everybody was going to want it, but I was wrong. So I wasted everybody's time with that. All right, back on track. We made Kindred Saint, and then I started focusing on co-writing. So I had a song on this record, Far Cry. I had one song on this. This was the follow-up to High Gear, which I talked about earlier. So we had one of my songs on here. Better Than This. I'm going to talk about Better Than This real quick. The song Better Than This is one of the best lyrics I ever wrote. I worked for 6 weeks to get every syllable of Better Than This the way I wanted it to be. I told them when they recorded, I said, you got to get every word right. Every and but and there and this. Every word has to be exactly the way that I wrote it. Linda, you did a great job on that. Thank you, Linda. Better Than This is one of my most proud songs. It's not on any of my records. It's only on this, and I'll just say that. They did a good job. The singer, thank you for respecting the words. I worked really hard on lyrics. I hate writing lyrics. I would rather write music to 10 songs than lyrics to one. I swear it. I can't stand writing lyrics. I don't like doing it. It's just so hard to write words for me. But Better Than This is on here, and it's one of my best songs ever. And someday I might have my own version. I couldn't work it on anything else I've done, but that happened. So there was a song on there, and then I co-wrote a bunch of stuff, and we got covers on Tango Down's Identity Crisis. They did a cover of Corners of My Mind. I'll be honest, it wasn't... The production was great. Everything was great about it except the melody. The melody on some of my songs that have been covered has had to be altered because of the singer's range. I used to have a high voice, and on Corners of My Mind especially, the hook is really in the last line that goes up there, and had to redo the melody to fit the range, and it lost something for me when the melody was changed of the hook, which kind of was disappointing for me. But I'm glad it was out there. Back to Life is on here, but I co-wrote with Scott, which I really like that song. That song almost made it on Promise, but it didn't. And then apparently I wrote the words for Calling Out, but I don't remember doing that. But I read them, and I saw my name, and I went, that sounds like me. Alone is on here also. So I wrote some songs on here, staying in part of the Tango Down family. So there's that. And then what came out next? I think this did. Yes. And then again, I'm just like writing behind the scenes, and I'm getting lazy. I'm not really keeping up my songwriting. And then I had some stuff on. So then there was this, Charming Devil by Tango Down. I had a lot to do with this one, to be honest with you. Too much. I had too much to do with this. There shouldn't have been so much me in the writing. There's 10 songs on here, and I wrote the lyrics to 8 of them. That's too much me. But Bad Reputation gets a cover on here. Too Many Roads gets a cover on here. And then Nothing But Rain is on here, which I had written for myself, but they wanted to do it. I never turned down a cover. If anybody's watching this and you got a band that wants to do some of my songs, then go for it. Just credit me. I don't care. But I co-wrote a lot of this stuff with Scott, and there was just a little bit too much me, I think. Overall, I like the record. I like it a lot, but it's a lot of me. I did get to write a song with Jimmy Bell from House of Lords, though, Tomorrow Never Comes, which I think is a great song. I was very happy with that one. I thought it was cool. Yeah, there you go. I co-wrote a lot on this record, really. I mean, I'm almost a member of the band on this one. I'm not complaining at all. I thought it was great. I'm honored to be a part of it. But that's what happened. So that's where I went to next. And then around this time, I remember I'm going to run out of time. I talked about me this much. So I was going for a walk one night, and I was just thinking about all my songs, and I realized that I had a lot more songs written that were good that were not out there in the world, because I'd only had these 2 records. Like, this is all I had. And I had a lot more songs that I'd written that I was proud of that were just languishing in my folders, in my notebooks, in my computers. And I'm like, if I'm going to be serious about this, I really got to purge and get these songs out there. So that night, I just was like, I got to start getting to work. This is bullshit. I'm not doing myself any... I wrote all the songs. I did the hard part. I wrote all of it, and it's just sitting. I got to get it out there. So I started working on a record. And what I did is I went into the studio. I had a lot of demos done. And I just went, what are the songs I have that are closest to being finished? Like, they're just basically almost already done. I just need to round them out and put a record out there. And so that led me to Perspective, which was the first thing I did that I think is really solid all the way through in terms of everything. Like, the whole package, I think, is good. But a lot of these songs were already done. Little Star I'd had for years, and I was always very proud of Little Star. It's a very personal song, but I loved it. And so that was basically done. I just had to remix some of this. The Same Mistake, which I was always very proud of. A lot of the stuff on this record came from the times when I was trying to write for country artists. I was doing a lot of research on country writing, and they were doing a lot of storytelling songs. So the same mistake was written for that reason. Jody's Just Running was a little story song. While We're Here, which I'm immensely proud of. While We're Here, I always think I like While We're Here quite a bit. I'm very proud of the words of While We're Here. All these have song commentaries on YouTube that you can listen to, so I'm not going to ramble on and on because I could go 10 minutes about each song. But this record I was very proud of this. It's very schizophrenic. It jumps around a lot because that's me. You know, I love Helloween, and I love James Taylor, and I love Whitesnake and Sting and Bon Jovi and the Indigo Girls and Hanson and Night Ranger. So I just basically went, this is who I am. I'm just going to put it all on one record, and it's going to be a little bit weird. Cry was one of the best hooks I ever wrote, and I wrote that for this record. While We're Here, What If We Were Wrong? That's true story. That hurts. Don't Talk to Me. I love that song. Again, there's a commentary online somewhere. A buddy of mine came up with a hook, and then I worked the rest out. That's me trying to be Toto, and I love that song. I still listen to it. And that song took more work than anything else. There's so much going on in Don't Talk to Me. That song probably took more work than this whole record. The Unknown is just me and a piano, and that was real and raw. If you listen real close, you can hear my fingers on the keys that bleed through the vocal mic because it's one take. But I kept it because the feeling was there. When I tried to re-sing it didn't work. We Don't Know Anything, which is one of the most, again, I'm proud of the lyrics of We Don't Know Anything. I had that title for a long time, and I wanted to write a song about things that humankind believes to be true and then is proved wrong. Like the world is flat. No, it's not. You know, you can't go faster than the speed of sound. Well, yes, you can. Like all these things that we believed as a culture without question were true, and then we discovered, oh, we were wrong. So we don't know anything. So the first bits of the song, and I try to take it chronologically throughout history, you know. So that's why the first line of the song is, we can fall off the ocean's edge. And then we just build up. It's just, I did a lot of research on that song. Believe it or not, this little goofy song, I did a ton of research. So I wrote that, and then I did the bridge, and then the last verse is about things that we hold true today that may or may not turn out to be the truth later. And I'll stop right there because I will offend some people if I go further. But there you go. This was my singer-songwriter record more than anything else, and I tried all I could. This is the first time I did a Kickstarter because this takes money. I mean, this took $10,000 to make this. It did. It costs money. Making a product costs money. I know a lot of people that don't know that, but it did. And I did it as cheap as I could. Like, I called in favors, but still. My one regret on this is I did a digipack. I am sorry that I did a digipack. I should have done a regular record because I have had this. I had digipacks, and they get burnt. They get bent, torn, scratched, and then you're out. You can't just replace the case. So I am sorry that this is a digipack. Contrary to popular belief, this is not any cheaper than making a regular record. It costs the same. It's not, nobody who makes a digipack is going the cheap route. It's the same thing. I just thought it looked cool, and I thought everybody was doing it, but it actually turned out not very practical. You can also see on this that I'm really just trying to be this guy. This is me trying to be Richard Marx. Everything about this, I needed an image, I needed a way to package this, and I went, let's just grab this record and see if we can just make my version of this. And that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I try to do. This is me trying to be Richard Marx, but the songs are I'm very proud of the songs. I'm proud of this one. So there you go, this is on my site. I actually gave Richard Marx a copy of this. There's a picture somewhere of Richard Marx holding this, which I had the balls to give him to this when I met him, which was hard to do. But yeah, that's what this is. There you go, Perspective. Came out in 2015. I worked really hard on this. And then when this came out, and it went really well. I got better reviews than I ever got. I got more attention than I've ever gotten with any of my writing. So I was like, you know what? Let's keep going. I got the songs. I sure got the songs. So I remember deciding, I'll make another record right away. I can do this in 3 or 4 months. Oh, jeez. No, I could not. So I delved right back in and worked on this, which is probably the best. This is probably the best thing I'll ever do. This one and then this one. So this came out this year, 6 months ago. This is Promise, and this is me trying to. This is me encapsulating everything I ever loved growing up when I was 16, 17. Before my musical palette had really opened, when all I had was Survivor, Honeymoon Suite, The Storm, Journey, Night Ranger. Like, it was all that. this record, as much as I do love it, it does jump around in style quite a bit. And I decided to go full on with this and just go, this is the record. I'm going to make a Storm record. That's what I tried to do. And I'll confess this also. Writing from me to you songs, what I call from me to you, like love songs, is very easy for me. Those pour out of me. I don't really like that anymore. I want to write songs that are interesting, like We Don't Know Anything and While We're Here. But I had so many of these from me to you songs that I didn't want to, I just wanted to put one or two on every project because it gets tiresome, you know. But I decided my favorite records growing up, The Storm is all about From Me to You. Journey is generally all about From Me to You. So I decided I'm going to make a record. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to cull together all of my songs that I've written over the years that are From Me to You, that are very good, and I'm going to just make it as close to the Storm record as I can. And that's what I did. And so I worked really, really hard on this, and I called in every favor and used every trick I know into doing this. And there's a lot of good reviews. I mean, this is done really well for me. It'll probably be the best thing I've ever done. My brother and my dad did great work on the guitars. They both did really tasty work on the leads. The leads on this are great. My brother does a great lead on Can't Find Your Heart. All the guitars on Can't Find Your Heart are my brother, and he did a great job. My dad just kills it with the leads on Nothing But Rain, and it's just great. I'm very happy with this. I enlisted backup vocalists for the first time. I'm sick of hearing my voice looped and repeated and blended it's just a bunch of me. On all my records, it's just me. So I got I got a handful of my friends who are singers that I thought their voices would blend really well. And so we have a bunch of different backup vocalists on this. So my buddy Sean Pilata sang, all the high parts on here are Sean Pilata. My buddy Pete, Tommy Bell, you might remember him, has a really smooth, low voice. So I got some backup vocalists that would sound a little bit fuller sound rather than just me, because I'm sick of me. So I did that. So I did everything I could on this record to make it as good as I could. And you can tell, again, just like I'm trying to be Richard Marx on this one, I'm going out, I'm trying to just, you know, why do I have a blue album? Why is Promise a blue album cover? Because all the stuff I grew up loving looked like this. The Survivor records, they all look like this. One-word titles. Promise. Perspective. This is what I should have been doing all along. But, you know, so there's Promise. There's sound clips online. The YouTube, I got a sampler on there of both these records to listen to. And I mean, if you're watching this, you probably already know this, but take a listen. I worked really hard on these two records. This was 2.5 years of my life to make these two products. And getting people to listen in 2016 is impossible. It's really hard. So all of you, I very much appreciate that you listened at all. And whenever I say, like, tell your friends, like, I feel kind of weird about that, but you got to promote, you know, and I'm just me. So John Kibble we put this out on Kibble. Ty Sims mixed it. Oh my God, Ty Sims is so patient because I am a monster. I'm a nightmare. I'm a nightmare. He'll send me a mix and everything's wonderful. I'm like, Ty, like the snare drum on the third measure, on the third verse, can you bring it up like half a dB? I mean, I was a nightmare because I've never had somebody else mix my stuff before. I mixed this. I had someone else master. I actually did mix this and it drove me insane. That's why I hired somebody to mix this one. But everybody did a great, great job. And then I did a Kickstarter and couldn't be more grateful for everybody who helped me make these, because without the money I can't do it, and I can't do this myself. I paid for this one myself, and I paid for this one myself, and to this day I'm in debt from those. There's no question about it. So thank you for helping me make these, and I hope everybody liked them. And the songs, right? Before You Run is one of the best songs I ever wrote. One of the best Diane Warren, Desmond Child, hooky songs, layered harmonies I ever wrote. Before You Run, I'm very, very proud of that. Tonight Is Everything. I've had that title for years. I finally gave it life. Too Late. The song Too Late was not supposed to be on here. I wrote Too Late because I've been trying forever to get on Frontiers Records. I've been trying to get one song on Frontiers Records, and I can't get anything on Frontiers. Of all the projects they do and all the work I've done, I can't get one song on a Frontiers release anywhere. So I wrote Too Late specifically for Frontiers, because the chord changes are cookie cutter, the words are pretty generic, like, to go get them, like, we can do it, you know, it's very cliche. It is, but it turned out to be not a bad song. Like that whole song "Too Late" was written as a pitch for Frontiers Records, and they didn't want it. I like basically give up. So I was like, I'll use it. Heck with you. Try Not to Love You. Waiting is a great song. Scott Miller gets all the credit in the world because basically that's his song that I punched up. Leap of Faith. I always wanted to go home for that. Late on Loving You. Can't Find Your Heart. One of the most happy, not happy, but bouncy, fluffy songs I've ever written. Can't Find Your Heart. I love that. I'm very, very proud of that song. And my buddy Pete sang the crap out of it. And then Nothing But Rain. Nothing But Rain to close the album. That song's always been written as an album closer. That song is very personal and very real and very like, I'm a bad person sometimes and probably going to screw me in the end. Again, I got a song commentary about that one if anyone's interested, where I really go into detail about these things. I don't want to waste anybody's time. But there you go, the 10 songs, and the artwork is great. John Kibble, you know, he delivered. He's got a real gift for the visual. He's great. All the Kibble releases, they look awesome. They all look great. And this is all him. I had nothing to do with the visual, because whenever I have to do the visual, we end up with a ship and a moon. So what do I know? So, yeah, Promise. This is, it was actually, this just happened, and forgive me, but it was top 10. It was in the top 10. It was number 10. It was tied for 10. In Fireworks Magazine, Best Albums in 2016. It got 90% on Melodic Rock. It's the best thing I'll ever do like this. Because I don't think I can do another record like this, because I have other songs now. So, that happened. There you go. If you're interested in any of these records, I got more to say. Hang up if you want. But if you're interested in any of these records, you go to my website. That's my website. And if you put in this promo code, you put that in the coupon code, I think it's 20% off, 25% off. I don't know. Anything. So if you're on the fence or you're interested in any of this, go for it. And I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to put this video up on YouTube eventually. And I'll just make this a standing coupon. I believe that's it. Let me know if there's any problems. But there you go. And then after that, later on this year, this record came out, and I had a few songs on here. Give Me a Reason I co-wrote that. Bulletproof, one of the best songs, one of the best rock songs I ever wrote. Bulletproof is on here. I was very proud of that song. My dad's a rocker. He was very happy when I wrote Bulletproof. He's like, wow, Bulletproof is one of the best rock songs I ever wrote. On here, I'll do my own version someday. When We Were Young. I actually stole When We Were Young melody from a song I wrote when I was a kid, but When We Were Young, I love that song. I co-wrote that, just the lyrics and melody, but I was very happy with that. And then I wrote The Edge of Goodbye, that's on here. So I got like 3 songs I wrote, I think, 2 songs I wrote, and then a couple co-writes, but I had my hand in like half this record. And this was the best Tango Down record there was, because there wasn't too much of me. I prefer this guy's vocal range and his singing. For me, this is the best Tango Down record. It really is, and I am very proud to be a part of it and help shape it, but this was very, very good. There's more coming. I know we're already talking about the next Tango Down record, so now let's talk about the future really quickly. Here's what I got planned, and I got to be myself, so please nobody be upset. Doing another record like this, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Here's what I've been working on, and this is what I'm going to do next, probably. Because I'm tired. I am. But I'm probably going to do I've been writing a piano record. Just piano. It's just piano. There's no singing. There's no guitars. And I'm probably going to do that because I've always wanted to do that. And I got to do what I want to do. So the next thing I'm going to do, project for me, is probably going to be a Jim Brickman style piano record that I've been working on. And that takes a lot less time in the studio. It's just easier to do. That's probably what's coming next. The Romeo Riot project, I'm part of that. I've written a lot of songs for that, and that's an album that's going to be coming. I don't know when that's coming out. I don't want to say it, but I know that that's going to happen someday. So that's happening, and then depending on how much enthusiasm I have and how much what's the word? Just if I can keep doing this, I made a list of all the songs I've written that I'm proud of that I still don't have versions of myself. And there's like 3 records worth of material here that some of it's already been covered, like Bulletproof, you know, Better Than This is on other people's records, but I don't have my version of it. My version of Better Than This. But I have a great wedding song called All of My Tomorrows that no one's ever heard. I got the most heartbreaking song I've ever called Daddy's Little Girl. Some of you know this because you got my little Kickstarter bonus unreleased demos. But I mean, I have 30 songs that I think are good that I just don't know if I can even bring myself to work on. So it takes so long to do this. And then it comes and goes. Like opening weekend for a movie. People work on a movie for a year and a half, and then the movie comes out and it's great for 2 weeks, and then it's over. And it's a lot of work. And then here's song titles that I have that I think are good that I might want to work on someday. I got an idea for a song called Blowing Smoke about the guy that writes the religious stuff in the sky over my house. Devil After Dark, which I always thought was a great song title. And just, I got good song title ideas. So, I don't know. But there's that. That might or may not happen in the future. I truly don't know how much gas I got left. But I will probably do the piano project. And here's the other thing I'm going to do next year. I'm going to launch a songwriting business. Here's what I'm going to do. I've played a lot of weddings. I've played piano a lot of weddings. And I'll be honest, I mean, there's a lot of money in weddings. You can make a lot of money doing those things. And so there's money out there to be had. I've always wanted to be heard more than anything. Like I said, I always wanted to be Diane Warren. I just wanted to write stuff and connect with people. I wanted to write songs for people that made them feel the way I felt when I would listen to Diane Warren's Look Away. When I would listen to, I go, oh, this person understands, they're speaking to me, and it means something. That's what I always wanted to do for other people, So, but that was when I was younger. The market is now horribly oversaturated. Anybody can make a record in their house and put it up online. So it's really difficult to reach the masses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a songwriting for hire business. I've already done it a little bit with Kickstarter, where people got on Kickstarter and I wrote them a song, But it was collaborative or it's not. I haven't worked out all the kinks yet, but I'm going to do it. The thing is, to do this, it takes a lot, and it's going to be stupid. If anybody, it's not going to be stupid. The prices are going to be what they deserve to be. Honestly, it takes a great deal of work to write and record a song. It's not easy. It's not going to be $100. It's going to be very expensive. But that's what it is. People want something specifically written for them. I can do it. I can write love songs well, not in a day, but very, very easily. They just kind of pour out. I'm very, very good at that. So later on next year, I'll be launching Forever in Song. This will be in addition to all the stuff I'm doing for myself. And I'm going to basically write songs for people's weddings, for their birthdays, for anniversaries, for funerals, for Valentine's Day. People want theme songs for themselves. People want, I wrote a song for these people and their friends. I wrote a song. It's going to be that. I'm going to start doing that. And I'm going to market it. And it's going to be something I'm going to pursue because it's a very specific thing that I can do. And it also helps me do something for people, like people have their own, like a wedding song written for them. People pay crazy amounts of money when they get married. And I'm sure that people with cash would be like, yeah, a song written just for me and my wife, for a couple. Yeah, it's a thing. So I'm going to go for it. And it's either going to succeed or fail miserably, but I got to try, right? You got to try. So in the future, piano record, Romeo Riot, I got a lot of other songs laying around that I'm sure will be on other records. If Frontiers would be open to trying to get me to get a couple songs on there, I would love to get anything on Frontiers. Kibble Records has been great to me, and I plan to stick with Kibble Records' relationship, and Kibble gets the first right of refusal because I haven't talked enough about John on this video. If we're talking about my songwriting and my career and my ability to connect, I should mention so much more that John Kibble has been a dream to work with for me, and it's been a very great giving relationship where we respect one another, and it's gone very, very well. So I don't want it to seem like I'm at all ungrateful. I think it's great, and I plan to be on. I want to be on everything he does. Actually, I think I got a song coming up on. There's something else, other project where we got a song. I don't know. There's a lot going on, but yeah, that's it. Is that it? I think that's it. I talked a lot about myself. I'm really sorry, but that's how it is. If anybody's interested in any of this, go to my website. You can talk to me. All I ever want to do is write and have people hear the songs, and I've done pretty well. I mean, I got 4 albums now of original material. That's pretty cool. I'm proud of that. I like to sit and look and go, I wrote 4 records. It's pretty cool. And the piano one I'll do later on, and then I don't know what the future will hold, honestly. I got a lot of good songs still, but just the drive to do it, it's tough. I got a great song called Midnight Drive that I wrote when I was a kid that I love. I love Midnight Drive. Step 1. I wrote a song for American Idol. That's good too. Man, all right. Anyway, there you go. There's me talking about me. One more time. Here's the website. Here's the promo code. Go on there. Grab a record or two. I try to price them reasonably. You know, I think these are $5. No, like $7, $6.99, and then this one's like, I think this is $9. This is $10. I think. You know, I know there's a lot of options out there for music, so I just appreciate you guys all listening. Thanks for listening to my music. Thanks for listening to me talk. If you're interested in having a song, if you know anyone's getting married or wants a song, we'll talk maybe next year. I think that's going to do really well. I don't know. All right. Is that it? I think that's it. Forgive me for talking so much about myself. I feel like a jerk. All right. Take a look at my site.